All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dow. My phone has been blowing up this morning, as well as my inbox on my YouTube account. And I see the reason why, because there's a lot of volatility is getting ready to take place in the markets, especially on the paper trail. Now, what's getting ready to take place is that the CME is getting ready to make all the maintenance margins equal to the initial for everything all the way across the board, for all futures contracts. It makes no difference. I don't care what anybody's saying. Now, if you go back into my videos, you remember some time ago that I said, I don't care if they crash silver down to $5. That just gives me more of a buying opportunity. You see, a lot of people, because of human nature, and because we pay a lot of attention to a lot of things and stuff, we lose heart and we don't stay the course. When you really truly look at this thing for what it really is, nothing has really changed. You in paper, you in cash, you in trash, you deserve exactly what you're going to get. I told you some time ago, get out of that mess. Liquidate all your cash assets and get into physical gold, physical silver. So all they're doing is making sure that there's no more cheating across the board because, hey, all these central banks are printing money out of thin air. They have nothing to back it up with no more. And so now what they're doing is they're putting a halt. They're putting a freeze on it. So yeah, hey, I believe that more than likely that silver is going to crash. I mean, it's going to go way down. But remember what Pastor Dow said. I don't care if it goes down to $5 an ounce. That just gives me an opportunity to go buy more. Remember, it's the physical. Now, knowing the nature of the beast and the way these boogers behave, because you understand these are very intelligent people considering their profession in manipulating and handling money and coercing people who emotions and feelings is just up and just up down, just up and down, up and down, up and down. Now, the one thing we need to realize is that JP Morgan has a massive short position on the silver, and they have not changed their position whatsoever at all. So it seems like that JP Morgan stands a chance to make billions of dollars off this latest crash, if this crash is going to take place Monday. There's a lot of people who have sent me a lot of videos. I've watched a few of them. I don't have too much time because I have to get ready for Sabbath here. But they're saying clearly that you know, the paper market is getting ready to get tanked, which I thank the Father for, because that means that the central banks, whether they be the European or here in America and stuff, that they're finished, they're done for. Again, nothing has changed. We're bankrupt as a country, and we're getting ready to see exactly what's taking place. I want y'all to understand, central banks all across the world is stacking and hoarding gold and silver. And personally, I think that this could be a move to where they shake out all the people, shake the monkeys out of the trees. They shake everybody out who is not serious and stuff. And then what they do is that they could put a freeze upon the selling of precious metals because they're hoarding it all. So Pastor Dow is going to squat and hold with everything that I tell people with the little amount of silver, little metals that I may possess or have. And if it does fall, and if you're able to go out and purchase more, when it does, if and when it does crash, then count it as a blessing, because guess what? There won't be no more crashes. There will be no more bottoms from here. As a matter of fact, I'll read you what I got from Zero Head right here. CME goes collateral, DEFCON 1, makes maintenance requirements equal to initial for everything. The most important news announcement of the day was not anything that came out of Keynes. As did for nothing, nor from Greece. The merry-go-round and the forest their countries unabated. No, it was a brief paragraph distributed by the CME long after everyone had gone home. In other words, they don't want anybody to stay informed. They don't want anybody to know what they've just got finished putting out, but yet they have to put it out just to say that they did put it out. See how the devils operate? All right? And was already in their third drink. It is crucial, because not only this announcement is a direct consequence of what happened to the MF Global several days ago, but because it also confirms one of our biggest concerns. Systematic liquidity, in the non-existence. We confirmed that the bank liquidity in Europe was at an all-time low earlier today. In other words, they're bankrupt. They don't have no money. They're just like the United States of America. Translation, common folk. I can only assume that the same is true for U.S. banks. Yes, it is true. It's true. We are bankrupt as a country. We don't have any liquidity. We don't have money. All we have is a printing press. See, nothing has changed. I'm trying to keep it simple for all of us. But what's very disturbing is that it's just as true as the exchange level, where it appears that the aftermath of the MF collapse is just now being felt. Now, That means the monetary fund, I assume. All right. But what exactly is the announcement? Unless we are completely reading it incorrectly, it is nothing short of margin calls for tens of, if not hundreds of billions worth of product. Because of the close of business of November 4th today, the CME just made the maintenance margin traditionally about 26% lower than the initial margin for specs, equal for everything in big bold letters, which means by choice of business, or which means by close of business Monday, millions of options and futures holders will be forced to deposit billions. Now, that's the reason why that the CME and all these people keep increasing margin requirements, because if you have a contract and stuff, you want to continue to keep holding on to it and not lose your rear end, they keep making you put more and more money into the system, to flood more and more money into the system. And of course, a lot of people can't continue to keep putting money into a sinking ship. So they just liquidate and they get out whatever they have left. And they're just like the stock market. Stocks are crashing and stuff. So you get out whatever you have left. So if you got physical, you have tangible assets and stuff, you're still in the driver's seat. But me knowing how the devil is and stuff, I wouldn't trust it one bit. I don't care where the news sources come from. I would trust my own independent government. I own my own ability to think independently. And I would trust what that book says, since it's been calling silver and gold from the very beginning. Let me keep going right here. Let me read back up here. Which means by the close of business on Monday, millions of options and futures holders will be forced to deposit billions in additional capital to the CME, just so that they are not found to be margin deficient and thus receive a margin call. Naturally, since it is very unlikely that this incremental amount of liquidity can be easily procured in one business day, we anticipate that the insurance of hundreds of thousands margin calls on Monday, followed by forced liquidations of margin accounts across America and the world. Just like when Lehman blew up and it took 5 days for money markets to break, is the unprecedented elimination of the distinction between the initial maintenance margin and the post-MF equivalent to the first dynamo fall this time around. Well, and let me go ahead and translate everything for you here a little bit. All right. You got physical. You're in the driver's seat. Again, don't sit up there and have anxiety attacks and let fear grip your heart and have standing heart attacks because you see the market for silver make tank all the way down to $5 or maybe even $1 an ounce. Let me just really get it up there so I can get your feelings ready, because you know how Americans are. We're pretty volatile. We're emotionally charged people, and we usually don't have too much stability. Look at it as a buying opportunity. Keep what you've got, because I personally, my own personal feelings is, I would not personally trust selling silver or metals back into the system, and then there's a chance you may not get them back, because, I mean, they can just about do anything. And remember, nothing has changed. What they're talking about the papers, what they price things in paper. Are you following me? So if you got silver, the one thing is for sure is that this is just a stance for us to let us know this stuff is going to the moon, whether it be this year, next year. I have it for a long-term investment. You know, I've got silver sitting here, and I really, truly, and probably just, I'm looking like 5 and 10 years down the road. And so I'm going to stack as much as I can, and I advise you to stack as much as you can. And don't be so volatile. Don't let these people, because they come out with headlines and stuff, shake you. Now, if you want to take the risk and chance to go ahead and liquidate some of your assets and stuff, and go ahead and get all the cash that you can, and then hopefully later on when the silver price does crash, if and when it does crash, that you can be able to buy double, maybe even triple the amount of silver that you have, go ahead. But me, I'm pretty much content. I'm content right where I'm at, and if it does crash, it just gives me an opportunity to even buy more, if we're able to get it. Because remember, central banks are now hoarding gold and silver. Why do you think Hugo Chavez and all the rest of these people are calling for their metals to be in their own little hands? So that's just my take from a common man's perspective. You know, I told you I wouldn't have been in paper in the first place anyway. I believe in stuff that I can hold literally in my physical hand. And that's the way that you should be also. But most of you, you're going to lose heart. You're going to cut your losses, take what you can. You're going to flood it. And of course, anytime people start selling off these contracts, that is almost going to guarantee a crash in the silver market if it does take place. In which most people will lose heart and just say, you know, you're going to see all these people attacking all the silver bugs, you deceivers, you liars and everything. Just remember this video. squat and hold and see what takes place and see what happens. And that's the truth. And that's the truth straightway.